Hello, everyone. It is me, Aaron, otherwise known as Yarshien, and with me is...
Ethan, otherwise known as Ethan, or she wants the EG.
And we wrote How to Be an Adventurer together, and we intend to continue to write How to Be an Adventurer together. And today, we're just going to do a commentary video, just talking about how we made episode 10, and also, or rather, how we wrote episode 10 more accurately. Mainly because...
What a wonderful.
Oh,
Sorry about that. I was just gonna say what a wonderful beginning it was too to this season.
Yeah. Let me actually... That way you can just watch the video. You don't have to pull it up. There we go.
Oh yes, there we go. That's perfect.
Thank God for Discord.
Yes.
I really just wanted to come in and really talk about, like, I did want to approach you on the concept of, like, how I even approached you about the way that we went about this, because for all that it might be worth, because when I was writing episode 9, I think, was when I talked to you about wanting to write the next season of How to Be an Adventurer, which led to other things, but more specifically it led to, like, us finally being able to sit down, write like 3 whole episodes in a matter of months. And I can't remember when we started. I think it was like last year was when we were writing.
I think it was like May of last year, something like that.
I know I approached you in May, but I think we didn't like really get into it until like I was getting closer and closer with episode 9 being done. And then I think we finished writing in September was when we had the first 3 scripts.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And like you said, we had gotten them all done in a fairly quick amount of time, especially considering, like, because I remember that there was a whole lot of shit going on in my life at the time, but I always look forward to the calls and the writing sessions with you, and we always just we kept bouncing off of each other as if it was a ping pong match of sorts. It was really fun.
Oh yeah. So let's just jump into this, and I want to like probably go over some of my more favorite parts about this because I was just so excited in making this. So let's just go. Let's do it.
Yeah. Certainly.
Yeah.
Well,
Dude, this was
I remember you.
Yeah. What did you remember?
I just remember you. I remember you sending me this, and you was just like, "Look at what die made me."
Yeah.
I'm pretty positive I woke up to that, and I felt like I was still dreaming.
Yeah. One of the other things about, like, when we made this first scene, or I didn't even have you when I first made this first scene. I had already written out the cold opening for episode 10.
Aside from all the stupid shit we've said.
Yeah, you had already written out the cold opening and scene 1. It wasn't until scene 2 where I had actually, like, officially come on.
Well, I was only like halfway through scene 1, and the biggest thing about it was simply because I was struggling with like some of the dialogue, but the opening, at least the cold opening here, was like almost still some of my old writing, but then also like introducing the idea of wanting to play more with dialogue. Oh god, also having to recast for Welf, my god, like it's a curse, really. It's always like one of those characters in every Bridge series. Like that one character always seemingly has a new voice actor, and I really don't want that happening in the futures. And I could really rely on Pyro to do this.
Oh yeah, and he did an amazing job with it as well. I think that he captured the character perfectly.
Oh god, dude, working with Requiems for he and Kinthos was so amazing.
I love the reception that he's been getting lately because people have been noticing that he's just like such a cooler, more calm character in this style than he is in the source material, and that makes me so happy because he's really killing it in this part. He's seeming just intimidating enough, but also like collected enough where, of course, you know, in the future episodes, people might be able to see him unhinge a little bit more. But I really like the new dynamic that we've taken with him, and he nails it. He's amazing as Hyacinthos.
So, like, when... Oh, I had a few people that I wanted to approach for with Hyacinthos, and I did do auditions, and the first voice of Hyacinthos was just not fitting very well, to which I did apologize for, like, that recast, because it was just not as dynamic as I originally thought. When I started working with Requiems, was also sort of in the middle of working on Fate Zero that exact same year. And he did Kiritsugu really, really well, and I thought that low end that he had in his voice was just perfect for Hyacinthos. And also, like, allowing the direction that we went with him was outstanding, especially in the writing, because a lot of people felt underwhelmed, and it was, like you said, it's just... people are taking this Hyacinthos a lot more seriously than comparative to the original series, and I don't ever want to like spit in that face of Fujino Mori, but just like, god damn, like, I'm really happy that people enjoy a certain form when it comes to rewriting a character, especially for a parody.
It's very flattering when they can actually remember his name now, which is which is something that we poked a little fun of in the last scene of this. And yeah, the fact that people are actually able to remember such a long name like that is just, it's very heartwarming.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, I love doing some of the really subtle sound design effects in this, especially with the Bete kicking the chair over. It was a lot. That was like fun, just editing, just these little subtleties. And also, I really do like this Bete. When I started working with Skylord, he was just really good for him.
Got a perfect voice for him too. Makes him sound. I mean, I know I've used this word a couple of times, but the amount of like intimidating and serious characters that we're adding into this, it just sets the mood for how season 2 is going to be going, I think. And the voice actors are doing them such justice. It's been like, it really does bring the words that we write to life.
Yeah. Oh, also, I did enjoy that, like, we went with, like, the joke from back in episode 9, because I had talked to you, especially in the writing room, with the idea of, like, everyone now commenting on Belle's girth. Because, like, people don't shut up about that sort of thing. Like, you know, like, that image from, like, Ninja Sex Party of, like, what the hell was that? From the 3 Minutes of Ecstasy song. The what the hell was that? Like, this is totally the opposite of that. And, and it's just like, I really like callback jokes, like, especially when you're like referencing something from early on in the series that you've just made canon in the way that you've written things out. I really enjoy doing that kind of shit. And then also subsequently, like, the opener for this was just really well edited, at least from my perspective, because I followed, like, so many rules with this opening, and then also broke so many rules with this opening at the exact same time.
And I think that accumulated itself in what is definitely the definitive opening for this series so far. Like, it is such a good opening. It follows the beat of the song really well. It follows the tone that we're trying to set for it. It's definitely probably the best Fall Out Boy song that you could have picked for this one. And like, hell, I can't think of a better song in general either. So
yeah, I think it's at this point was when I added you into the writing process. Because I remember just talking to you about, like, how to go over dialogue over this.
That's what concerns me.
Yeah, that's right. That actually is right, because this is where we kind of start setting up the story beats for how everything from the previous season really affected the party and the world as a whole,
Has revolved
and
around
Yeah.
just
mistreating
realizing like how to take it from here, what's changed, what stayed the same, what will change in the future, with upcoming events for people who are familiar with Don Machi.
Uh,
And yeah, it's a lot of setting up, but doing it in a proper manner. And
You say
and as people will see with the coming episodes, there's a lot that comes full circle, but then there's also a lot more that has yet to happen.
oh yeah, definitely.
If you say so.
Like also, I think I did note like one of the big writing problems, especially that I was kind of struggling with, was the whole like trying to get emotional aspects, and you really hit so many key points with like Hestia kind of consoling Belle in a not just only comedic but also an honest way. That way it felt like at least it didn't fall back on me like trying to find the next sex joke in the series.
Well, it's like who told I believe it was Elena who told me, but it's like she appreciates how the sex stuff is kind of starting to become part of the character aspects and not like the whole premise of the story, which is
Yeah.
something that like you and I kind of talked about working itself into, such as, Belle's girth, for instance. I mean, like, because like you said, people don't shut up about that, because like, even Adie and Daphne, for instance, like later in the background, she says, "That's a foot and a half, motherfucker."
Oh hell yeah, no.
No.
Like, that was totally unscripted, and I didn't note this when I had done the breakdown video, but that was actually originally Tara's reaction to when she was recording for Hestia, because her reaction to me was saying that and then recording the subsequent line afterwards. I was just like, people talk, Belle. It was just outstanding in that aspect of like trying to like just making that joke. And subsequently with this joke, we actually sat on how we were even gonna do like the whole like letter smacking thing, and thank God for Spencer, who just basically followed all the keynotes of what I was looking for in trying to figure out what to do with that. And we had 2 edits of it where it was basically, and I'll show everyone here.
Hey, fuck ass.
Let's see.
Okay.
This is for you and your goddess.
So that was literally during the week in which the Patreon release was going on. And then I think it was the day before that I got that edit back from Spencer, and then I put it into the edit, even though like everything was locked down. Like I didn't want to change too much, but when Spencer saw the original version for the patrons and for people that had voice acted for us and worked for us on the project, gave them the preview, and then when Spencer saw, he's like, "Oh, I completely forgot to do that part. Give me some time. My hand is hurting, so let me just like try and work that later," and got it back literally day before.
Absolutely immaculate too, might I add. Like the expression in this shot just
Yeah.
made it what it was.
Oh god, people love me going, "Please."
No, I remember writing that with you, and you did it a couple of times, and I can already see exactly how he's gonna do this, and it was not too far off from what actually ended up happening.
Yeah, I like, because like like whenever like we do the writing, we're also like kind of voice acting it to see where the direction could possibly go, and it can change with the voice actor, because the way that I do directing is I want to hear their ability as a voice actor to shine, and I don't do a lot of inflection direction anymore. So the inflection that I know that I'm going to do is often during the writing process, as comparative to how it will be portrayed in the episode. But with everyone else, it can vary wildly.
Goddess, please.
Sure. Very much so. But like we said, they usually tend to nail it damn near exactly how we're going for it. And and as the script goes, or as the episode goes on, and as we keep writing the script, you can tend to pick out almost exactly these kinds of bits that we're writing in, that we're just kind of actively voice acting as we write. Yeah, I mean, there's like 5 that I can know in this scene in particular. This is where the tensions start to build. This is where Apollo's plan of sorts is really kind of setting itself up. He knows that something's going to happen with some adventure this inexperienced, but also with this many accomplishments under his belt. Of course, somebody like this is going to get a little high in over their head, which just it opens up the book for so many amazing possibilities. And I am so glad that we were able to take advantage of so many of them. And of course, Miak the opportunist.
Oh yeah. Oh, like so this is also one of those very rare few times where like I get to work with the new voice actor and new voice actress. Momo G, who plays Naza and Loki, this is their first time voice acting in anything, and did an outstanding job, just either being regal or being like a bit of a bully. Oh god, this
shot.
Oh god, I remember just in the writing room, just like
Because we had noted just like the color palette change had just happened. I believe that you said something about it, and you're like, "Oh man, my eyes."
Yeah,
and then we just decided to write it in the script.
Yeah, because it's like turning the brightness setting on your phone and like going from like light mode to dark mode. And it's like, why is like not everything always in dark mode? And then it's just like, that's the equivalent of that. It's just like it burns your retinas for some strange reason. And the reason why, like, they have like those blue filter glasses nowadays. Oh fuck.
And it just fits this character like Belle so perfectly, who lives in an abandoned church, to just like see all of this regal lighting, all of this white interior design.
It's just like, I feel like this whole place is just designed by like like a former president we both know. That's the way I see it, and that's how tacky it is. Also, like, I noticed this during the breakdown, like, I noted it, but, like, one of my favorite things to do, especially in editing, is to add a little shake for stuff, and the way Hirano, like, redesigned the whole eye for fucking, for Hermes here, and the way that I just made it shake around a bit really exemplified that feeling. I was really happy with that.
Oh, and it perfectly highlights his pervert nature, just right there in the spotlight. It's so wonderful.
A true piece of shit masochist.
Oh man, I cannot wait for Hermes spotlights here coming up in the next couple of episodes. Oh man.
Oh yeah. Oh, and Apollo. Oh god.
Oh yes. Let's talk about Legend by Design for a second, because that man.
So here's the thing. I had to have him re-record for the last 2 episodes, because we did record for the past 3 episodes. However, I only got file 10, but I never got 11 and 12, and we were looking everywhere for it. So basically, we already knew where we were going with it, so we just re-recorded it within a day, and like never lost touch with Apollo from when I first had them record. I think somewhere in like November, maybe December, probably January, and that goes to show how long these like getting people's recording schedules together. But Legend just really killed it as Apollo, and I absolutely loved the actual work that went into providing a showman like experience.
Yes, like the way that, because when we wrote this speech of Apollo's, we made sure to make it a lot more subtle than it was in the source material, where the one person in the room that he's calling out knows it, but then for everybody else, it's essentially a motivational speech of sorts that gets them to all agree to essentially make Belle more nervous without them knowing what they've been led into.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and the way that he delivers that with such a confidence, with such a sense of grandeur to it, just it nailed it. I remember when you showed me the preview for this episode, or even just while editing this, I was just like, damn, if I heard this, I would feel nervous.
Oh yeah. If I knew I was on the if I knew I was on the other end of the sword on this, I would feel very nervous.
Oh, incredibly. His delivery with every beat just killed it. And it just, I cannot wait to see what he's done in the future episodes.
Oh yeah. He does have a very prominent place with episode 11. Episode 12 is pretty much reduced to what happens when you lose.
Yeah.
Because obviously he will lose. Like that's not a spoiler aspect. Like, we know what happens in the actual series. But one of the big things that I truly did enjoy with writing Apollo was just this. There's something definitely underneath all of this that is already out in the open in episode 10. And then subsequently, we just kept playing with that, and I can't wait to explain that in episode 11, where we really dig deep on trying to make this one character who's more than just a single note of being this really big creep ball, but also having certain problems that they think about as well.
Mm-hmm. Essentially just kind of diving into everything that fucked him up so bad.
Yeah.
Because while Hestia says that she doesn't know, she very much does. And we did hint at that. But yeah, she very much knows. It's all family ordeals. It's what happens when somebody with the most severe daddy issues that you could not possibly get over ends up becoming semi-successful.
Yeah, and also subsequently, this is one of those kinds of characters where you don't feel bad for the decisions that they made, and you still don't feel bad for them no matter what happened to them. It's just this person just turned out terrible no matter how you kick it. But yeah, no, I think when writing Apollo's speech, that was massive, and I cannot wait for just more of that little intricate, being this bastardization of how we perceive Apollo. Because Apollo Apollo, even in mythos, is not even a good god. He's a bit of an asshole.
Oh, of course. And he almost always gets his comeuppance for it. And I think that writing exactly how he did for this was definitely one of the most fun times in writing that I've ever had. Oh, and especially in his final scene for the last episode.
Yeah.
What the actual comeuppance are, I cannot wait for people to see.
Oh, yeah. Let me just say this. It has been written to the point where it makes a lot of sense in modern day slang, but also, to be quite fucking honest, it's no spoilers.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's just satisfying. We'll just say that. It is very satisfying.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, God. I love writing any dialogue between, Belle and Hermes. Yeah.
Right? The scene that's coming up with them on the balcony was just, it was such a fun one to write for, because their dynamic is so buttery smooth to write for. Hermes obviously being the kind of god who, as Belle had said earlier, thinks that he knows him, when in all reality, Hermes, being the fly on the wall, knows a lot more about Belle than Belle seems to realize.
Oh yeah. Also, on top of that, I do want to know, I do want to know, in writing the little aspect of how we wanted to end it, or end Apollo's speech was not extremely complicated. We just knew that his speech had to end on the feeling that he is watching Belle like a hawk and is waiting for any excuse to use it on him. And that's why, like, the for change little aspect was, like, I removed all the vocal effects, I upped the volume, I made sure to hit that visual note so that way it felt very intense, and it worked perfectly.
The effect of that was just so felt. It even gave me goosebumps just being able to hear it again in post. And that was and that makes me so glad, because that was the exact effect that we were going for. And it's really funny too, because especially if you listen to the speech, on one hand Apollo is saying, everybody, you don't need to change who you are. We are better than this. We already are above all this. But he's clearly telling one person, yeah, change. Change is coming. You won't be ready for it, but change is coming.
Yeah. In writing, like, the aspect of, like, perceptions of change can be of two different things. It could be a change of how we perceive the world, or a change of how we are going to be going through the world. And perception and actions are two very different things. And that's the reason why I don't feel very confused with Apollo's speech here, because that plays on both of those narratives. The first part is we need to change our perception of the world, but we should not change our actions. And that's because Apollo is pretty set in his way with his actions, but he wants somebody to change their perspective, because he's about to force somebody to change their perspective in a very change their perspective from Apollo taking action and Belle perceiving how his actions have repercussions.
Exactly. It's the most elegant way to keep your showsmanship. And I really, really like how he even threw a callback into there in the scene upcoming with Hermes, when he ends up asking Belle, like, is it a change that you're looking for, Belle? Kind of even racking his brain on, maybe Apollo does have a point. Maybe you should actually, think on that.
Oh, yeah.
To which Belle, quickly brushes off the question, because he knows it's all schlock, or he believes it's all schlock. He believes that the entire reason that he's here is all schlock. Because when you're a victim, it's very this scene.
Yeah. So I'll let you finish up with what you were saying, and then we'll talk about Freya in a hot second.
Yes. But it's just the fact that Belle clearly feels like the victim here, and he's not going to be very privy to listening to damn near anything for this. And I really like how Apollo knows that as well. And it just really sets up the dynamic for the rest of this little arc here, that Belle's going to change what he wants when he wants it, but now is not that time, and it ends up landing him in really hot water.
Oh, yeah. I feel like this is kind of where it starts, is how Belle perceives or changes his perceptions of the world, not being solidified by how he is treated, but rather how he begins to start taking more responsibility. Because right now, the way he is written is pretty much a reaction and a through line to how he does things. And, I think that's just because, I have been set in my writing ways from back in 2015 when I first wrote Belle. And now with the evolution of this show becoming far more prevalent, especially in the writing from Fujino Omori, I really feel like that should be action taken on my end to see how that writing goes. As for Freya here, oh
man,
fuck Freya.
Freya is just...
So a lot of people attribute to the idea that because I make How to Be an Adventurer that I really like Hestia. No, I fucking love Freya. She, the way that the Freya characteristic is written and the way that Freya it takes action is great, but man, did I accidentally take this character and smack them all the way to the back. And now I have to grab them by the scruff and pull them all the way forward. Mainly because, like, I didn't think of Freya for a lot of the things that happen throughout the series. Just rather actionable perceptions of how she was written. And now we have to actively make her more prominent because she is. And, oh, fuck, if you haven't read the light novels... there is a lot going on with that, especially with Freya. And also, like I put a little secret in the episode descriptions on how I wrote the voice actress and the name of the character. If you look up Seer, you will see a little secret that I put in there, and that is just because I needed that to make a bit of a point that there is a lot more going on than what we see. And I'm looking forward to revealing that later on. But man, writing this was just easy, smooth as butter. And also on top of that, finding Max Rab's fucking oops, I did it again. Bro, dude, that song is like so fucking out there for a cover song of Britney Spears. And like all the love to Britney Spears for, you know, for everything she's going through, but like hearing this version of just like, oops, I did it again. It's just so fucking weird to listen to, but it's so fucking funky and out there. And I loved putting that in just because I thought it would be funny, because it also fits Freya's profile as a character in general.
Perfectly. And talking about what fits Freya perfectly, let me tell you, Lennon Drake, one of the best voice actors that I've ever gotten the pleasure to work with. She nails this character so well. For the short amount of time that she's on screen in this episode, she really just grabs the attention.
Yeah. Also, episode 1 callback with Miok. The whole you make me want to drink too, because Miok doesn't like being at parties that Freya is at.
That's right.
Yeah, and so like that's the reason why he's like, oh, I get it, you make me want to drink too. And the subsequent joke that I don't know if it was you or if it was me that wrote the no, it does. It makes me not want to have sex because because basically her pussy is parched, is what we're saying.
I believe that was you. I'm going to give you the due credit on that one, because I think I might have written. I think I might have said something about parching speeches, and then you took that with Miak and Freya's next line, and you just ran with it. You ran all the way to the fucking finish line with it, and it was perfect. It was such a perfect interaction.
Yeah. This edit of like Belle, like it just like zooming in and just like him coming to the conclusion of what the fuck was just said, totally by accident, not intentional. I was just playing around with some of the effects in Vegas, and it just like it went that way, and I'm all like, you want to know what? Like, let's just have some fun. And I just cranked the threshold, did a pan zoom, added a little sound effect, and the little fucking click sound is a JoJo's reference. It's Killer Queen's thumb switch sound effect.
I didn't even notice that at first. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was always a JoJo's reference. No, I was looking up some random JoJo sound effects because I thought it would be funny to have, and all I heard was like the clicking sound of Killer Queen, and I was just like, oh fuck yeah, I'm putting that in. I don't know when, but I will.
I see your eyes just widening with the epiphany of this is the one right here.
I love certain sound effect, like meme sound effects. You know that like super reverberated echoed fart? Like it's just like it's so massive it could crack the night sky and show the face of God. And I really want to use that at some point, but I used it like way earlier of like how season 3 should have ended. And it's just basically Asterius just fucking cracking right on top of Belle. And that is how we're gonna end season 3. It's just fucking Asterius standing over Belle cracking ass.
Oh, that's perfect. Oh man, I have a feeling that you and I are gonna have a lot of fun just messing with sound effects while looking at the next couple of episodes while I'm visiting.
Yeah,
oh man,
I can't wait to put in the bruh sound effect.
oh man, I can think of a couple of. I can think of a couple of places where we could possibly do that during the Stoma's Palace one.
Oh god, bruh. My first editing mistake was trying to elongate that pan. It should not turn out well. Oh, it's Momo G again. And just pitch. You decide who's who.
Oh man, this interaction was so much fun to write for.
Yeah. Oh god, I haven't had a voice for Loki in years, and finally with Momo just coming in and doing it. Oh god. Also, that episode 5 reference was totally you. I know it was you. Yeah, just like my pretty little ass. You think my ass is pretty?
Oh man. Well, and here's the thing though too. One thing that I thought has always been absolutely perfect in this series has been Belle and Ice's dynamic, and I have really loved being able to put that at the forefront for this episode as well, especially considering the events that it ends up causing.
Oh, definitely. Oh, this whole scene being written out. I think this was the hardest scene that we wrote. Was basically the dialogue between Belle and Hermes, because it's just like, how do we get into the mind of somebody that has often really closed off all their desires in order to avoid subsequently being withheld by somebody else's desires? No, it's not the fucking women.
that was such a fun one too, because like that's clearly one of his main motivators in the original series. But good God, I could not think of something that is less on Belle's list.
Yeah, like
and how to be an adventurer.
Yeah, like all the way at the bottom of the barrel is exactly the thing he does not want, and
yes.
Yeah, like writing about like Belle's desires is literally just like a setup for how to write for the future of Belle, because like the next few characters that he begins to care about and interact with, he legitimately has to start taking not just only like responsibility as a diplomat, but also responsibility as a warrior. And at the end of at the beginning of episode 12 is legitimately a speech that is in reference to a well-known show. We won't talk about it right now, but like it is in reference to the idea that Belle is going from, you know, a child to a man in a world that he shouldn't be doing that, but he lives in that world and he has to abide by those rules now. And that's kind of what this whole setup is like, what does Belle want as somebody that now has to take on so much responsibility as a fucking kid, basically.
Especially when a lot of the events that have been thrown at his way have been all circumstantial and not necessarily his fault.
Yeah.
And leading that into a bunch of scenarios that do end up being caused by his own actions and end up being somewhat his fault. It's, like you said, it ends up transitioning him into more of a man who's able to take accountability for himself. And I think that it's really fun how we kind of throw the question out there to what Belle desires most, but he hasn't really gotten the time to think about it. And then once he realizes what he does can end up leading to, I think that it's going to start putting that question more in the forefront of his mind. And that is just, it's something that I am so excited to explore, and being able to have explored it in even just this arc is just, it's been so nice.
Yeah, because like I do feel like the first season of How to Be an Adventurer is as reactionary as it can be, because it's just one person coming after him after another, or one action being made to him at another, and so he has to react and be on his feet much faster. Right now, he is at that precipice that he can no longer take reactionary points. He has to actually start taking action for the responsibilities that is laid before him. This will probably be the last time he reacts to something and begin actually making active moves to see how he can do things without having to really just put everything on the line or put everything in danger. But this is probably the arc where he does the last reactionary thing, and that's something I'm looking forward to.
Especially with the kind of like mindset shift that he's going to end up having, like, because like I said, considering that Hermes hints at that change that he's looking for and how he's got to consider that himself, that is just going to be so interesting to be able to delve into, especially with the Ishtar arc. I can I cannot wait. This scene.
Oh god, I remember asking you, how petty and how childish can we make this? Because like everything about eyes is like a 5-year-old playground insult. It cuts so fucking deep, but like you wouldn't hear that as like teenagers and adults. Like it's just like, no, you're smelly, you're stupid, and your face looks like a butt.
It's also just such a juxtaposition to like how, for instance, Loki does things, because Loki's a lot more crude, having all those years of insult experience and everything. And she's a very goal-driven woman who thinks about this kind of stuff last. And to have it be more on the innocent side of things is just so perfectly in character for this version.
Yeah, it's just like I just enjoy like how low can eyes go, because to be quite honest, she's probably not thinking of insults, so she has to do them on the fly, and so that's the reason why she like throws out like childish insults, because that's as far as it can go at this very moment. Oh god,
exactly. That's why I was gonna say that's why I'm excited to like possibly write for How to Be a Mage some more, because delving into Aiza's character like that and just like seeing what's made her tick this entire time is just just such a prospect.
Oh god, this was such an easy edit.
Yes.
Oh, I love this moment. This moment where we were thinking about like, how do we want to like piss off this dude for literally any reason? And if there was any reason, it's just like, well, what if Belle and Eyes imagined that they were doing good dancing, but that was definitely not the case.
Because we were wondering how exactly we were going to incorporate this theme together, like, in everything. We were just like, okay, so this seems a little out of place for how we're going about it. And I don't remember which one of us suggested it, but we were just like, why don't we just make that, like, all part of, like, an imaginatory scenario?
Yeah.
Like, why don't we just have the last straw be them injuring everybody in the ballroom?
Yeah. Yeah, no. So, like, also, on top of that, I want to note the song here, and I noted it in the breakdown video, but in all reality, one of the big things about this was that I had legitimately wondered what the whole Saw saga was, and so I think it was like one or 2 days that I ended up watching literally all the Saw movies. By the way, they're fucking gruesome. I never want to do a full run of watching all the Saw movies, and which, by the fucking way, I ended up watching Chester Bennington in one of them, and I lost my shit. And to anyone that knows me, like, I have a Linkin Park tattooed on my wrist, and seeing Chester Bennington in that, I'm like, what the shit? And the one thing that constantly popped up throughout this entire fucking series was the end song where the fucking villain reveals it all, and it's the Zepp theme, and I'm like, what the, like, this is such like a badass fucking like theme for like villains, and I just could not have not put it for the whole like Apollo like revealing that this is part of his master plan. And those first few notes from the Zepp song, you're instantly memorable.
Yes, absolutely. And it fits so well. Like, this entire scene just sets itself up so well. Like, it almost did the writing for itself, and I love that.
Yeah.
Because I believe in the original, this was just kind of all like a ruse that was just set up. Like, because Luan wasn't actually hurt.
Yeah.
Wasn't he? He was just acting, yeah.
Yeah, he was just like pretending.
No, I kudos again to Legend for being able to just convey Apollo's entire disdain for everybody around him for having what he doesn't have. And just being able to just set up his evil intentions so very well. Because I heard from one person that, like, this last sequence, you know, it doesn't seem planned because it seems like Bell just essentially set it all up for him. But, like, you know, Apollo knows that Bell was going to screw up at this kind of thing somehow because, you know, that's not... Him and Hestia are not used to this high-class life. Well, maybe more so Hestia, but Bell is certainly not used to this high-class lifestyle that he was just directly thrown into. Apollo definitely knew that something was going to happen, and this kind of thing is just like candy for him. This is better than he could have ever imagined it happening, and I love being able to set that up.
Oh yeah, like the whole, like, there was no like intentional plan for how this was going to happen. Like, it is explicitly written that the concept is that Bell's going to do something tonight, and Apollo is going to pin him for it, no matter how bad or how good it might have been. And as far as Apollo could possibly know, it was just going to happen. Something was just going to happen, and he was going to get him for it. And that's what legitimately happened. Belle and Eyes did some really wonderful dancing in their heads, and literally the entire ballroom got entirely fucked, and he just shrugged and said, all right, let's do it. Clapped his hands, a day's good work.
Exactly. I mean, because in a way, that's what the bar fight scene in the beginning sets up. It's Apollo dipping his toes, saying like, "All right, let's see if I can make something happen by not doing anything." And then the invite happens because he's like, "Oh, I can definitely help frustrate something to happen just by doing absolutely nothing." And best case scenario, like, this is all just best case scenario. This is why we have what we have dubbed as ugly bastard face. This is his utmost enjoyment. This is ecstasy for this man.
Oh god, nothing says good villain like writing than giving that villain like the most ugliest face ever. And like the animation team, like, keep in mind, I don't think Fujino Omori at all wrote about how Apollo's face worked. And just like he smiled devilishly. It's like that could go any which direction, but like, for fuck's sake, the animation team went way over the top in trying to make this dude as dislikable as possible, and thank God.
Well, I remember just when we were laughing at each of these shots, and just how perfect it was.
Oh, a little bit, by the way, because I got a few comments on this. Somebody had asked who was screaming at the end when Belle was like, oh god, what have I done? That is Tara. That is her legitimate, real reaction to seeing Apollo's face as ugly bastard face. It was totally unscripted, not in the script, like just completely a natural reaction. And thank God that it was being recorded, because I was like, man, if I have to add this in somewhere, I fucking will. And I did. I am proud that I showed her that image.
Yeah, because you had shown me a couple of like the cast's reactions to how like they thought that face looked, and when you sent me Tara's, I was just thinking, oh, that is absolutely perfect, and that would be perfect at some point in these next couple of episodes. And you found the absolute perfect place to put it.
Yeah, it's just like her screaming at her nephew, just like Belle going, "Oh god, what have I done?" Oh god.
Oh man, and then this scene.
Yeah, writing the post event of that. Just like talking about the reality of like the threat that they're under, and like not taking it as seriously as it should, because they thought they wouldn't be attacking in the town.
Yeah, exactly. Because Belle's like, these people are high class. These people aren't going to do something so heinous in broad daylight. They might be douchey, but they're not totally rash. But this is, of course, like Belle's first experience with his own repercussions. So he's not necessarily thinking that it's going to be any bit worse than what he's already dealt with, because he's already dealt with some pretty rocky shit. And then it turns into what he never could have expected. And being able to set that up is just, it's perfect. It was perfectly, like, it hit all the beats that we needed it to.
Oh yeah. Also, like the commentary of just like Belle saying that he had to drag Hestia out was legitimately like just, it's one of those like jokes, like you'll never get to actually see it because in the original animation they just walk out. But like I legitimately like wanted to like add in a line that would exemplify the nature of like what had happened there, and just like flipping off and cursing at every god and goddess there was legitimately just taken from there and put it here, just for the sake of like telling the joke still. And I really loved that aspect of this. And also just like because like I really want like Hestia to have that I will cut a bitch kind of nature still, and that might depreciate over time as the series goes on, but like she is leaving behind the I will cut a bitch if somebody touches Belle kind of deal, because she's being surrounded by more and more people as the series goes on.
Exactly. And as we also find out, she tends to be a little bit more calculated than...
Especially that guy with his hand in the air. You know what the funny thing is about Lissos? The person that will be playing Lissos in the next episode when he introduces himself is Coffin Jockey, to which, by the way, Tara is married to. So she's basically like, especially that guy with his hand in the air is directly at Coffin, and if Coffin had any real say in it, he would be like, nah, that's fair.
I can already see that too. It's such a perfect
those
interaction.
on Twitter are fucking hilarious, because like it's just like, why did I marry you again? It's just like,
you see, that is. It's definitely the type of dynamic that I have with my girlfriend as well, and you know, as somebody who gets to experience it firsthand, let me tell y'all out there, it is the kind that you want. I promise it might sound like it could be too much, but I promise you, it is the kind that you want. It is so much fun to be able to joke with somebody who you can just occasionally be like, you know what? Fuck you too. Yeah, totally fair.
Dude, like I love Imperial Nyx's like little drawings that she makes of Terra and Corbin, because Imperial Nyx like legitimately draws Terra as like this gremlin. It's just like it looks like this gremlin is just bullying this like tall lanky man at every point, and I absolutely love it, and I want to see more of it just for the laughs. That's pretty much it.
I always see her drawings of her and Pyro. I don't think I've seen too many of those two before.
Oh, fair enough. Oh, by the way, fuck you. Fuck you for having me write this bullshit. This fucking bullshit. Never make me do this again. Never make me say more than 2 words out of that fucking character ever again. I will not do it.
I just thought we were talking about this while we were writing this down. I was like, you know what? She never says anything but "oh damn."
Yeah.
Let's let this be the one exception. The one time where something's actually going down in town. Yeah. That's the thing that breaks the silence.
Yeah. No.
And I love that.
No, what's even worse is because like I didn't feel like leaving it at that. I ended up recording another voice line later for the other cat girl here, and which is like, did you speak? What did I tell you about talking? And it's just basically choking out Arnya. It's just like Arya's just crying in the background. It's like, what did I say about you talking?
It's so perfect. And it's like, the witch just reverts back to, oh damn, oh damn,
oh damn. Yeah, it's like, for some strange reason, I'm voicing more than one character, or voicing like half the fucking maid cafe in this goddamn series. I really hope that doesn't come to that conclusion. But like, here's the thing: I've only set it up to where like Mamma Mia has a male voice actor, which is something that goes against a lot of my personal writing beliefs. And then me playing Arnya, which is once again against a lot of my personal writing beliefs. And then also subsequently playing this character with an even deeper, more raspier voice, playing Arnya, playing just completely breaking all of my own personal rules just for the sake of one joke. And also for the sake of setting up a sear line, a single sear line, just for one joke.
And hey, I promise you that I will make sure that this is all worth it in the end. I will personally see to it myself if I have to, but something tells me that it'll all work out just fine.
No, what's even worse is that like Arnya has like more fucking lines and becomes like an actual like legitimate character later on in the series, and it annoys me to the point that they become so pivotal at one goddamn moment that I'm legitimately wondering if I should even continue to play Arnya, because it numbs my mind how fucking important this one character is for just like 2 chapters, and then like nothing else. And
I do have some ideas for that. Which we will discuss outside of the commentary, but I think that there's a rectification for it.
Oh yeah? Oh god.
A couple of them. Oh man.
Also, another added voice line, fuck this door, just randomly. Just, like, it was just like, fuck this door in specific because it is closed, and that is what doors are supposed to be there for. But no, fuck this door in specific.
Especially considering it was getting in the way of things. Yeah. Oh, and then the scene coming up.
Coming up. I have words for that.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't actually, when we were joking about this at first, I didn't think that we were actually gonna put this in the script, but I'm glad that we ended up doing it, especially given the talent that we got to portray them.
Yeah, no, like, when I approached Joe Cat, to just play, like, this character that, like, shows up, both on and off camera, like, throughout the Apollo arc. The first thing he asked me was like, can it not be like really simple lines, like a simple back and forth line, like something that would be like at least like 2 lines. That was something I really wanted to avoid already, which we had written out, like these guys like just like getting real personal in their lives out in the open. And and just like when I approached Nux, he was like, "Yeah, I'm down to do it."
I have no doubt. I mean,
Dude, like Nux is such a chill dude. I will never find that man to ever be a bad man. He's just so fucking chill. And the fact that he was willing to like I didn't direct him at all for this. He just hammed it up as much as he can. And it was just like for no apparent reason, like he just like went way over top about like and suck each other. Yeah. Yeah, dude.
I've never improvised.
Yeah, just like this is the reason why directors direct, but also this is the reason why directors just let voice actors do what they want for a take. No, this is both of those situations at once.
Clap to you, Nuts. Fantastic job.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I can say.
Yeah.
And I mean, I believe that these two, they appear again, correct?
They appear in episode 11, and their voice actors will appear in episode 12. So
yes,
yeah, it was just like totally out of the woods, random. And I since I've been working with Joe Cat closely, especially with Belkinus Necro Hunt, but Nux, I didn't get his lines until I swear to God, the last few months in which I was editing this. I think it was in March was when I finally got those lines in, simply because like I was editing episode 10 at that point, or I think I was fully editing somewhere along in April, and I got the last of the lines in March because I just needed to get them done. But yeah, no, this was like really awesome to have gotten the opportunity to work with 2 very heavy hitting creatives, just to have them play gay cat boys.
I'm just glad that not only they were willing, but they also just did such a good job with each of them. Like with Joe Cat being the more calm and collected one, and Nux like being the more eccentric one of the two. Just absolutely wonderful, absolutely perfect. I'm so glad that. So when we wrote those, we didn't even have anybody in mind, but I couldn't have asked for 2 better people to fill in for that.
Oh, by the way, this take with Haven, she actually did the line correctly, the way that it was written. And like when I was doing the direction, she was just like, she was kind of like building herself up to it. So I took that small bit. It's like, okay, I get you. I fucking get you. But you didn't have to comment on his giant penis. And like, I just took those 2 bits from the audio, slammed them together, and just made that a little bit longer because I thought it would be funny. And it turned out really well.
She's amazing at doing just small improvisations like that. And of course, her background with improv makes it so that she's just such an easy actor to work with. And I am so privileged to be on a team with her because she is just such an amazing creative mind, an amazing voice actor. I love that girl to death so fucking much, and she's just so good.
Right.
But this whole scene was just fun, especially like all the innuendo we threw in there. One of my favorite lines in the episode is getting her to just be like, enough dicking around after all of that.
Enough dicking around. Come with us quietly. That's quietly.
It was just so perfect.
In comparison to loudly, quietly. which entails we know how Daphne likes her likes her sex.
Yes.
But yeah,
just absolutely perfect.
Oh god, this sound design, by the way, was so fucking jam-packed. Just between the knife twirling and the hit of the impact on metal was a very interesting way on how I went about that. But I forgot to add the voice lines for those dudes. I had recorded them and totally forgot.
Just the cannon.
Well, barely one even noticed, especially considering how quickly it got to the penultimate interaction.
Yeah.
Saying it before.
Oh god, just the cannon was like legitimately like the most badass way we could introduce this character.
This time, I'm not.
And no kidding.
Lena did a great job on that lip flap, by the way, just for intensity's sake.
Oh yes, incredibly so. It really accentuates just how cocky he is about all this. Like,
yeah,
and oh man, Requiem just does such an amazing job at being able to make this man menacing and like not whiny, not overstaying his welcome. Just and of course Belle like accentuates that here by saying, "Oh, that is so badass," and God, just the way that we were able to write Hyacinthos in this whole arc just left me so satisfied. And being able to listen to how Requiem's like delivered each of these lines, I'm just glad that we were able to make such a memorable version of this character. Because his design does scream intimidating. It does scream menacing.
Oh yeah,
and it just all comes together so nicely. Oh, I can't help but about this.
So, in reference to three things at this part in the episode, now that I think about it, is the inconvenience where it's just like, oh, this is just a slight inconvenience, it can't bother us. It's now coming full circle. And the other one where it's just like, Belle going is like, that can't possibly come back down onto me, and it's now coming back down onto him.
Affecting him horribly.
Yeah. This is affecting me horribly. And then also, yes, this is a darkness reference. This is definitely a darkness reference. We were just joking about it, like, while we were writing about, like, you know, I once knew a crusader with just as bad as aim as you do. Just simply because, like, there is a deep part of me that really wants to make a Konosuba parody. Even though it's a parody in and of itself, I legitimately would love to just, like be able to voice, fucking, what's his name? God.
Kazuma?
Yeah, Kazuma. Because, like, I feel like I synchronize on that man's insanity.
Oh, yes. Entirely so. And oh, man. I remember writing this just kind of being like, you see, this is just going to be a really good nod to whoever gets it. And I was really impressed to, like, read through the comments of how many people were able to pick up on that.
Oh, yeah,
like,
definitely.
That was just such a nice thing to be able to see, is just another joke coming full circle, but also one that hits such a nice beat of desperation. Because, of course, Belle, in a situation like this, does not know what to do other than run his mouth. That of which will be explored in the next episode a lot, but...
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, editing mistake that I would like to point out is Belle's arm shaking. That wasn't supposed to happen. I wanted it to be still. I thought you would have fixed that. I fucked up. I fucked up, and I'm just like, well, it's staying in now because I can't edit it out later. So just kept it shaking. I think it would make sense at a certain point, but, like, to be quite honest, it was an editing mistake. I had created a subclip for it because I just needed this one moment with him just talking, but unfortunately, like, I didn't see the last few frames that would have cut the arm out from shaking, or at least would have in a certain way would have just, like, created an overlay or a crop effect just to keep the arm still. So my mistake, my genuine mistake.
Also my mistake as well. I had a lot of customs to work on with this particular scene as well, so that one was one that kind of slipped through the cracks.
Yeah.
Unlike you,
Oh god.
Oh, and just the best way we could have ended this.
Oh yeah.
The absolute best way. Beautiful.
God. So I think I did I ever send you like the initial clip of how like I was gonna like edit the last bit of How to Be an Adventurer episode 10 was with that song in mind. And
Yeah.
okay, so I did. So like nowadays like I am picking out like end songs that I can think would fit very well for episodes because like there is a bit of a theme going on right now because back then it was like ska song after ska song because I really love ska, and nowadays it's more antiquated with the idea of like the gods. So like I think it's like Say Amen from Panic at the Disco. This one is Believer from Imagine Dragons, which I thought like for that drum roll leading up to like cut to black, Hestia screams, and then once the beat kicks back in, just splash screen of how I usually do my ending episodes. And it just hits just so well, and I was so proud of that.
Yeah. No, this is the perfect transition into credits. Absolutely immaculate.
Oh yeah. And also like I for a lot of people like it's just I think for a lot of people like they're not too into the idea of like cliffhangers. I am 100% in disagreement of that. If you want to create a good arc, you leave things at cliffhangers.
Exactly, and especially with something like this that we kind of wrote knowing that it would have 3 parts to it. Because like even the next episode, while it comes to some sort of conclusion, it leaves a cliffhanger for everything else that's going on. That's major players in the story beats, and that was something that we wanted to make sure that we're at least. If not major cliffhangers, we're always at least leaving some intrigue to everything else that's going on. Because at the end of each of these, one thing that you and I have always noted is that, holy shit, there's so much more to write, and that's both intimidating and exciting.
Oh yeah, and like we're about ready to get down to work on writing the Ishtar arc, which once again, that's going to be a collection of like 3 whole or like 4 to 5 episodes compressed down into 3 and these long form episodes, because this is the first episode I've ever created with the length that it has. It has well over 20 minutes. And my main goal, at least from my perspective, is like if I could achieve 45 minutes for 3 whole episodes, I'd be the happiest man on planet Earth.
Mm-hmm. And I definitely think that, especially with how quickly you and I tend to hit story beats, just being able to bounce from one point to another, from one character interaction to another, very, very easily doable. And I think that especially getting a start on writing with this, while I'm not just going to be in my quaint little house in Iowa, but in the same room as you, that'll make it a lot easier.
Oh yeah, so by the time people see this, it will probably be about a week or 2 after. You'll be coming to visit me in California, and we're gonna be hanging out and just going a little wild. I'm not gonna say things for the sake of demonetization.
We're gonna be having fun. That's what's gonna happen. Lots of fun.
We're gonna be having California fun, where anything here is possibly legal.
Not quite as much as Denver, but definitely a lot.
But yeah, like this episode, at least the way that it came to its conclusion, and also, I didn't show you the stinger for this until like the day of that I put this in. It's this old Vine from, it's probably like 2015, 2016. I can't fucking remember. It's like this dude where he's like standing over this dog. It's just like this dog like does this little guttural borf at him, and then he's like, "You dare speak to me in that tone of voice, boy?" And it was just in theme with the fact that Belle keeps being made fun of by Eyes for being a dog, and that's the only reason why I searched this clip out. That's the only thing. And unfortunately, I wasn't gonna do Eyes, but I think Apollo fit the role of like, you dare?
It definitely worked perfectly. I didn't recognize it at first. I had to actually watch it a couple of times to get it, but I was like, I think after watching it when you posted it on the channel officially was when I like recognized it. I was like, is that a fucking Vine?
Yeah.
That's a fucking Vine.
Vine, your piece of shit.
I keep trying to convince Elena that the times of Vine were better than the times of TikTok. Controversial statement of the hour.
Dude, like, one day I legitimately hope that I could do, like, the one where it's like, Belle, you have failed your vibe check. Like, that dude. I want to do that dude at some point.
Oh my,
yeah,
that'd be amazing for, like, an intro.
Yeah. No, I have the next funny meme that I'm gonna do for episode 11. Because like Di already did the dancing Hestia. The next one, and you want to know what? I will say it because I think people deserve this and can expect it. It's going to have something to do with Devil May Cry, featuring Dante from Devil May Cry. No, so like when I started doing this series, like I just started including little green screen memes because like the disclaimer doesn't stop anything from happening. Like it's just there because it's always been there. Like it's from the olden days in which the first generation of abridgers started doing this. But like I legitimately think that, you know, making the disclaimer have funny little memes from like all around the internet add into it, and that the Hestia dancing thing was just out there just to be out there. But yeah, no, like I have high expectations for episode 11 and episode 12 as well. I think episode 12 is going to be a little bit shorter than all the other episodes, but to be quite honest, once again, if we can hit that, you know, that 40-minute mark, I'd be the happiest man.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. I think that we'll be able to do it with ease. Because, yeah, like you said, there's a little bit more going on in the next episode, but episode 12 is going to be so action-packed. There's going to be so much actually, like, happening in terms of, like, you know, editing direction that I think that it'll definitely fill out damn near close to the time that we're going to need it to. But this one, of course, you know, episode 10 is meant to just kind of set everything up, get the snowballs rolling a little bit, and then episode 11 keeps those snowballs rolling. Oh, man, I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Cannot wait for next episode. Next episode, we've got the continuation of the conflict. We've got Soma coming into the picture. Everybody's kind of got a little bit. We got Hestia taking a well-calculated stand. It's just, it's all going to be so much. And
absolutely.
I just can't wait to see how people enjoy it, how we were able to kind of set the motions with all this.
Oh, absolutely. Well, then, I think that's where we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I mean, God, so much more work to do and so much more to think about. But thank you, Ethan, for just hanging out with me for the past hour, just talking about how we were thinking, what we were thinking about, especially when writing this episode. And hopefully,
of course, I mean, definitely going to do it again. It takes my mind off of all the moving stuff that's going to be happening and all the stuff that I've been getting together before I take the flight to come see your pretty little face as well. So,
fair enough.
This has been very refreshing. I've missed you very much, and I'm just so much looking forward to this. Like this and my teen romantic parody staff, who are just kind of my two babies, and I just, I absolutely love being able to have come into this adopted family. It's so much fun. It's so much fun being able to write for these characters.
Oh, absolutely. And also our other secret baby.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yes, of course. And possibly a couple of more secret babies.
Oh, definitely. All right. Well, that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Ethan, again for joining me with a commentary. And as always, if you guys are interested in helping support How to Be an Adventurer, there are links down below to the Patreon. And hopefully, we will see you in the next video. So,
Yes, certainly.
all right. Well, bye-bye, everyone. Bye.
Yes. See you around. Bye.